Следната сесија интервју со купувачот кој што ни доаѓа директно од иднината. Неа оваа сесија ќе ја води господина Небојша Илиевски. Сесијата повторно е на англиски јазик, така што ако ви треба слушалки, знаете каде треба да ги земете.
Прво ве благодарам многу за поканата. Исто како јас можам да зборувам македонски, ама не чист македонски, би сакала да продолжам на англиски јазик како можам.
Сите зборувате подобро од мене, така што окей.
Yes.
Ајде.
Јас имам прашање за вас.
Добро.
Ова е многу убаво дел. Многу убаво, може би ова е нов.
Благодарам.
I want to ask you why you bought that suit. And it's the same question for everybody. Why did you buy those trousers, that suit, that dress, whatever? Why did you buy it? That's my question.
Well, for me, because this is a business-oriented event, that means that this is a more strict dress code that I had to wear. I must say that this is not my daily style at all. But
So it's purpose, right?
Yeah,
because
it's for this purpose, right? So, but when I choose what to buy and how to spend my money, I want to have a good product for a good quality for a good price, which leads us to the conclusion that I'm happiest when I buy on sale.
Благодарам, Anna. Indeed, how do we make our choices when we buy things? We heard some ideas. It's about the purpose, it's about the style, it's about the price, is it? Emotions. Very good. Maybe someone can write that down. Emotions. What else? Anything? Marketing? Because of the good marketing that is still ringing in your ear. I can hear you. What else? Maya? Looking good. Is it about branding or is it about fitting? Fitting, okay. What does that mean? Sending information? Aha, okay, we are getting somewhere. Gary? Okay, are you from Red Cross? Can hear that. Okay. Indeed, many ideas, nobody said because I need it, because how do you make your choices, Heather? What is that dress that you wear, lovely dress that you wear?
Oh, thank you very
It's
much.
an Apple dress actually, yeah? iPhone dress.
This is working. Okay, so I chose my dress for all exactly the same reasons that you mentioned. I liked the style, it's comfortable, it's suitable for what I want to wear. I could afford it. I didn't need it. I really didn't need it, but I wanted something new for autumn, for winter, that I would enjoy wearing, that made me feel good. But that was not enough. I also bought this dress because of information that I could find about who made my dress, who made the cotton. Is it organic? Who made the buttons? Who sewed the buttons? Who made the design? What group benefited or lost something from this purchase? And I'm from the UK, and there's a fantastic research organisation called Ethical Consumer. And anything I want to buy, I can go online and I can check which products conform to the ethical standards that I personally hold and make me feel good. So this was bought from an ethical clothing company. Therefore, I used information Plus, I used consumer power. I used my choice for this dress. And I actually think that it added value to how I feel about wearing it.
I cannot have ladies stand while I'm sitting, so I stand stood up. And
It's
you want
that
this
I-
session
I'm
dynamic, I
sorry,
believe.
I can't
because
see people
no, it's
when
great,
I'm
it's
sitting
great.
down.
But anyway, please, this is an interesting topic. If you feel that you have a question, feel free. There is one mic there. I will run with this one also. So, do we already have some questions? No? I'll take it from here. For me, this sounds awkward.
Okay?
Okay?
Yeah.
Are there many people in the community that obviously you're a part of?
Okay. Although I'm an ordinary consumer, I actually did bring some facts and figures with me. So these facts and figures are from the Fair Trade Foundation, which is an organisation independent which licenses fair trade products in the UK. It's one of 20 worldwide initiatives on every continent. And fair trade, and what is fair trade? Who knows what is fair trade?
Hence, anybody heard about fair trade?
What is fair trade?
It's like 30%. Okay.
As you said, organization which certifies companies which do, let's say, responsible business from the moment of raw materials to the production, to the disposal of the, let's say, leftovers and everything.
Yep. Yep.
Just pass it on when someone wants to speak.
So complete supply chain management, complete and sustainable costing for the production at every stage, even down to the buttons, and compliance with other standards that mean that everybody, from the customer to the farmer who grew the cotton, has some benefit. So that's the idea of fair trade, as you say. Okay, so in the UK, the fair trade system worldwide supports 1.65 million farmers. There are 4,500 fair trade products licensed just in the UK. The annual turnover, the last time this was published in 2012, was nearly 1.8 billion euro. And to just put it on a very practical basis, 1 in 3 bananas bought in the UK is fair trade. So there is huge customer demand for fair trade products, and this is growing. And fair trade can be a lever and a change maker at every level. It can harness customer purchasing power. It can involve workplaces in, for example, buying fair trade. It can harness municipalities. In the UK, there are over 600 towns which are certified fair trade towns. The whole municipality must model its procurement processes on fair trade principles, and they are monitored and certified. And in the Houses of Parliament in the UK, there is an all-party parliamentary fair trade group, cross-party, which not only ensures that certain products like tea and coffee in the Houses of Parliament are fair trade, but promotes the concept within other legislation.
So I can see that in the UK it's widely accepted. I have read that UK is the leader in this kind of behavior, I would say, by the customers. When did you start doing what you're doing?
Okay, well, certainly not when I was a student and I never had any money. And after graduating, I went to Nigeria for 6 years as a BSO, same as Gib. And I worked in a very small village school and I didn't have any money. but I understood firsthand how hard farmers work to bring you cereals and for which they are paid nothing. So I knew firsthand with the children I taught what their future was, and it was not always rosy or good. When I returned to the UK with a young family, I saw a small advert, so marketing doing good, saying, did I want to buy fair trade tea? And I drink tea, not coffee. And I thought, yeah, I want to do something really practical. And so I sent off to buy that. And over the years, I became a sales representative for a model fair trade business in the UK, which, by the way, grew and grew to be quite a good and successful business. And
as you mentioned that when you started, you didn't have any money.
Nope.
Can people that are kind of in the middle class afford to be ethical consumers?
Okay, at the end of the day, everybody has a choice for something. So that should never be an excuse. But obviously, if you are very poor and you cannot make ends meet, you will buy the cheapest product possible. And who can blame you? But once you are in a position to be able to make a choice of what you wear or what you drink or what you eat or the services you require, then from that level on, I think you have a choice, yes.
Okay. And can you give us some numbers, motivational numbers, that made you persistent in your attempt to remain ethical consumer? What is the damage that the usual consuming is doing to us and to the world?
Okay. I'm a customer,
Examples.
I'm not an expert, I don't have big numbers, but I do know that the clothing industry still relies on child labour. I do know that those who produce chocolate will never, the cocoa for the chocolate, for example in West Africa, will never eat it, never. And I do know, for example, and I don't suppose there's anybody in the room who hasn't got a mobile phone, that most mobile phones contain cobalt, which is mined in the Congo by children as young as 12. So
These
any
guys
of
over
us
there.
with mobile phones potentially are supporting child labour. So those are some concrete examples that I have.
Going in the direction of the quiz that Kip did, he said that for 1 liter of Coke, we use 253 liters of Coca-Cola, water. So the quiz, how many liters of water, Dragana, thank you for the information, are used for 1 cotton shirt, t-shirt? Do you know that? So who is for 100 liters? Hands? Nobody? Thank you, Kip, for the model. Maybe 1,000 liters? Maybe it's too much. Oh, 1, okay. 10,000 liters? 2,000 liters? 2,700 liters of water are used to make 1 t-shirt. Is that correct? Right? Okay.
Possibly, but there are other issues. Cotton is produced widely in Africa, but can't compete with the subsidies that the United States gives its own cotton farmers. Production of cotton that is not organic not only consumes huge amounts of water, but is very heavy on chemicals and pesticides. Huge numbers of farmers in places like West Africa have gone out of business and even committed suicide because of unfair competition and the inability to sell their produce for the correct price. And yet all organisations all over the world, even really good businesses like NGOs and so on, use t-shirts as marketing, with wonderful slogans on them, but without thinking or without having the information about the actual cost of those t-shirts.
Do we have any questions, any comments on what Heather is saying and going to? Do you have a mic? There is a mic in front. Germana Hall.
Are you maybe then supporting zero waste?
Oh, absolutely.
Or is it
Fair trade businesses and fair trade standards have embedded in them not only people but also environment, animal rights, etc. And I think we'll come to that in a little bit more detail. But absolutely. One fact which is very shocking to me that I read recently is that since the 1950s, so in our lifetimes, since the 1950s, or near our lifetimes maybe, in my lifetime, we, the people of this world, have consumed more than every other single person in the whole of human history. So this tiny bubble now, which somebody earlier said was driving us stupid and crazy, is a tiny little bubble in history of huge over-consumerism, which in my view, and also referred to by Gibb, is not sustainable.
Is there a difference between consumerism and materialism?
Materialism is more about what you might want to buy, which is material, which you might need, which has a purpose. In English, it can be used to mean something where you are just consumed by material things, but it's more to do with purpose and need, whereas consumerism is focusing on us being like shopping hunters. We are more interested in the shopping. We're more interested in our conquest, in our status. Some of us have things, shoes, clothes, cars, something we hardly ever use. And once we've bought them, it's a short-term enjoyment, and then we go again to buy something else.
Do you recognize this behavior at yourselves? Because I see some nodding. Yeah. Okay. Does advertising, what is the role of advertising in this behavior, trend of behavior?
Well,
Obviously.
know very well about advertising, so I'm coming from the point of view of a customer, a consumer. But I am aware that one indicator of global economic health is the health of the marketing industry. And in a way that's quite surprising, quite shocking. And so marketing can give me useful information. It can advise me about choices that I have from one product to another, from one company to another. So of course marketing can be useful. However, my personal feeling is that marketing has got out of hand. It's now, some of it is now simply promoting image over useful information. It's promoting goods to the vulnerable. It's promoting goods that we don't need. What about branding? How many of us buy things because they have a name on them? Why should I pay more to advertise a company? They should pay me if they want me to advertise their name on my shoes.
I told you, this sounds awkward.
But I actually think the most damaging thing it does is that it takes away my right to have my own individual value. I end up being so influenced by marketing that I just buy the image. And I don't buy it to keep my own sense of value. And I think that personally, that's very damaging.
Okay, since I have some signals over there, I encourage you to ask questions, because we'll have, here is the question from Katerina over there.
Yeah, hello. Thank you for this presentation. I was wondering if you have any information on if and how much this ethical consumer principle have changed the practices, have changed the behavior of the companies,
Yeah.
and which are those companies that do resist the most?
Yeah, in the UK they've had a significant influence on some companies. because the growth of consumer power has meant that companies are really quite seriously concerned about the reporting that takes place. For example, the ethical consumer, let's take shoes or mobile phones, or financial services industry or the IT industry, and they will rank companies according to the set of criteria, and this is published openly. This is used by customers, for example, who choose to boycott certain companies, and certainly, to my knowledge, there have been quite significant boycotts that have resulted in companies changing their mind. One example is Nestle. Nestle, I think maybe even still, is the subject of a boycott because of its marketing of its milk products, which act as a competition to mothers using breast milk, and which has resulted, because mothers didn't have the wherewithal to boil water, which has resulted in numerous infant deaths, which have been provable by research. And there was a huge boycott, which had results just with that particular company. So boycotts have an effect. Customer choice has an effect. People begin to see that they're not interested in your product. And why? There's a Living Wage Foundation in the UK, which openly advertises the benefits of paying living wages and positively shows the benefits of that. There's the growth of social accounting, whereby a company can choose to do not only financial accounts, but actually to have public accounting of other elements of their business and how well they perform against those elements.
Heather, when you open Ethical Consumer, its website, when you have companies ranked, right? For example, if you want to buy a fridge, who is on the bottom of the list and who is up there? Can you remember some names, some brands?
I can't remember the whole list,
okay.
But I recently wanted to buy a fridge here in Macedonia, and
Which one did you look for?
I checked the whole list because first of all I walked around and had a look what types of companies and brands are sold here in Macedonia, and then I went to the ethical consumer. I checked the technical things, what I needed, that it was AA environmentally something and whatever it was, and for example I had the choice of Gorenje and Beko, and Gorenje was far higher up the list as an ethical company than Beko was, so I bought Gorenje.
It was on 4th place, I believe you showed me. It was very interesting for me to see that. Maya, please take a question.
I don't know whether this is working. I don't think it's working. Or... Anyway, I think it's perfect presentation and fits perfectly to today's conference and forum. I quite like. I think that this is a good moment for all of us to understand that beside making efforts to change how private businesses are thinking and to solve or to help for civil society issues solving, we need to think about that we also need to change. So the customers.
Yeah.
Private businesses are existing because of the customers.
Yeah.
And customers are those who use their products and services.
Absolutely.
So we need to think like an ecosystem, or it's like a circle, I don't know how to phrase it. And my question to you is this. Let's imagine that I'm an ethical customer and I live in London, near the Tower Bridge in the center, beautiful Thames, and all this, I'm the center of the world. Yes, and then after this presentation, I switch my mind and I like to start from tomorrow to be ethical customer, consumer.
What do I do, right?
So, what do I do? My question, is there any single place, either
you can tell, institution or not institution, we all talk about that we are all with mobile phones. I like to be able, in one, let's say, click or one opening, to see where I'm going to buy my sandwich or my clothes or my fridge. You did that, you choose the fridge, but you spend how many hours looking, searching? Okay, you know the website, you know. So I'm just thinking about shortcut and make easy to ethical consumer and customer to buy from free trade or from ethical or good businesses. Because when you buy, you don't think that much, and you cannot think about where I'm going to buy this suit, or where is the near me the cloth business from where I buy, and I know that I help children, women, society.
So I think that Maya is asking for tips.
Is there such a thing in the center of the world, in London, let's say? Maybe not. Okay.
No, there isn't one central worldwide or London-wide register that says this is a good company, this is not a good company. But if you want to go to a research organisation like Ethical Consumer, which is one click away on your phone or your computer, they cover the whole range of services and products that usually you could possibly ever think about. And they make easy the information with very simple ranking tables. And the information is even more interesting, actually, because I can adapt the criteria to my own personal values. For example, if I am more concerned about the environment, and I don't care so much about workers' rights, I can change the weighting of the criteria, and it will bring me the list of that ranking with my own personal preferences, ethical preferences on. That organisation also provides, what do we call them, where you can buy things, suppliers. It buys lists and addresses of key suppliers. It provides company information about why not or why you should consider that type of product. It also has very interesting information about the whole, the benefits and damages that a particular product can do. So, for example, milk. You know, we all think milk is very healthy and so on, but there can be damage with milk. There can be damage to people, damage to the environment, damage with animal welfare. It's not, anything is not easy. So I would say, no, there's no simple list you can go to. But there are a growing number of suppliers, both on the internet and in shops. And it is quite easy to find it. If you just put in fair trade clothes, you'll come up with 10, 20 organisations in the UK.
Thank you very much. Wrapping up on this session, Heather, it turns obvious that it's about choices that one takes, but also the choices that one has on the market. So it concerns businesses also. The last question that I have for you is, do you see that there is a business opportunity for businesses to diversify among their products so they can fit the even future need that might appear on the market? And what should they do?
Yes, I completely agree. I agree with Gib that this is a business opportunity. You have to build a different relationship with your customer and your producer. You have to consider what I would want in the future. And I'm not going to be satisfied anymore with just being told that this will make me beautiful and live forever. I'm not satisfied with that anymore. And I need to know that you are taking steps in order to make your business more sustainable and your business more credible and your business fairer. And you are then able to market that back to me, and you are able then to grow your customer base in a way that is profitable beneficial and sustainable. So yes, I think it's a huge opportunity.
Thank you very much, Heather. Anna?